Hey everybody, this is James Murphy, and I'm just checking in today to see how you're doing with your goals, intentions, New Year's resolutions. That's right, we're about 3 weeks into the year, and one of the most common things I hear when I ask people, hey, what's preventing you from achieving your goals? It's, I'm a procrastinator. Hey, I have resistance, I have this, I have that. And so a lot of people talk about strategies, right? Because there's a lot of strategies that you can do to overcome the resistance. You can create a supportive environment for yourself. You can focus things down, turn off all your notifications on your phone, your email, whatever. We've talked about that. You can make sure you have clarity on your goal, chunk it down, do one last thing. And ultimately it turns into language patterns of, hey, I need to do this, I should do this, I have to do this. And it kicks in autonomy and lack of autonomy, and we don't even like ourselves telling ourselves what we need to be doing to achieve our goals, and it becomes this big whole inner turmoil. So I want to actually do one thing, or offer a perspective that's just a little bit different, that is, I think, a great tiny little tweak, which is that most people overlook, which is I would just like for you to accept the fact that there's going to be resistance. We're working on a great article on focus right now on the Pomodoro technique. We're going to be bringing that up in the next couple weeks or so and rolling that out to you folks. But before we do that, one of the most interesting things about the Pomodoro technique that it says that the first 5 to 10 minutes when you sit down to actually focus, you will have resistance. Every single time. We're meant to have resistance because think about it this way. If you wake up in the morning, if you were expected to roll right out of bed and jump straight into like full bore work mode when it's 2 o'clock or 2:30 or 10 or 10:30 in the morning and the phones are ringing and you're buzzing and you're making stuff happen, or if you had to roll right out of bed right into the middle of an intense insanity workout where you're totally in the zone and you're focused and you're making stuff happen, or go straight from lunch immediately, like no transition time, just jump straight into an intense board meeting where you got to be thinking and maybe going over your analytics or data or something for your spreadsheets in your company, or some strategic planning, or straight into a creative marketing meeting. We can't just switch from one to the other right away. And so the same thing happens with our goals. We live in such a distracted environment. Phone, telephone, email, IMs. My clients get 300 to 500, 600, 800 emails a day sometimes, they tell me. And we're supposed to manage that with meetings and phone and then actually do the work that it takes to get your job done. People think we can focus, but we really can't, because it's like short burst focus everywhere. And so the ability to just sit down and really focus, accepting the fact that there's going to be this transition time, there's going to be time where you're going to have to stop. We talked about that last week in the 2 forms of vision, right? If you haven't seen it, go back, look at it. It's a great video. There's focused and there's peripheral vision, right? So we can flip-flop back and forth between the two to really create and use those states to adjust and recharge our ability to focus. But just accepting the fact that the first 5 to 10 minutes of doing something, it's going to be that ramp up time. One other quick metaphor is this. It's like I live about 15 minutes from the freeway, right? So if I'm going to get up and start cruising at 75, 80 miles an hour in the left lane to get where I need to go for a long-term trip, you know what? I got to give myself time to get out of my neighborhood where it's 15 miles an hour, then get up to 35, right, coming up to the major stoplights, then jump onto the piece of my street where it's 45, then finally get through the traffic and the stoplights and everything to finally get onto the highway where finally I can cruise at 75 or 80. Your brain needs that time to do the same thing. So give yourself that time. Accept the fact that it's going to take you a while to get on the freeway. It's going to take some time for you to jump up and get into that space. So sit down at the chair. That's the first thing. The second thing is write down your outcome of what you're going to be focused on. Then start to take some of those little actions, and before you know it, that 5 or 10 minutes will be up. You'll be fully focused. You'll be immersed. You'll be like, yes, I got it. That's it. It'll kick in, and you'll be cruising down the highway at 75 or 80. So accept that resistance. Take those little steps to engage, to get up to speed, and you'll get where you need to go quicker, better, faster, and you can stop the I shoulds, I coulds, I need, I ought to, I must, I have to's to get to your goals, and before you know it, you'll be crossing the finish line. So keep running your race. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll talk to you soon.